In this series, called 30-Minute Masterpieces, we explore artworks that can be completed within a 40-minute class period. Welcome to Painting with Janine Liza. Materials. We're going to need some paper towel on the table underneath some Bristol board. We're going to use black Bristol board for this project. We're going to use a large flat brush, a toothbrush, and possibly a small brush later, wax paper to pour some paint on. We're going to be using 5 different neon colors of acrylic paint, white acrylic and black acrylic. We're going to need a paper plate and a couple of circles that can be cut out of cardboard. About 3-inch circle and a 1 1/4 inch. But those can be any size. And we're going to need a push pin, some water, and some paper towel. I'm going to start with the toothbrush and the white acrylic paint. I'll just put some on the wax paper, dip the toothbrush in, and I'm going to flick this onto the paper, all over, just like this, facing down and moving around as I go. Once I have enough little specks to look like the tiny stars in outer space, I'm going to wash the brush in my hand and switch to the large brush, the large flat brush. Get some white paint on there and flick downwards to make some larger specks on the paper. You can see the larger specks that the bigger brush makes. I'm just going to make sure the paper towel is still in the center of the Bristol board at the back. I'm going to get the paper plate and get it ready by putting a push pin in the center of the top side of the plate. Then I'm going to put that aside. I'm now going to get some white paint and paint across in the middle of the Bristol board that's shorter than the width of the plate. I'm going to add a little extra white to the middle, and then I'm going to start applying neon colors, starting with yellow, then orange, then pink and blue. I'm only applying a small amount of each color. I've applied the colors in this order to have the brightest in the middle. Now it's time to use the paper plate. The push pin goes through the paper plate and through the center of the X, down into the tissue or paper towel below. You have to gently lower the plate, centering it nicely, and then carefully push the push pin in. Just make sure that's stable, and then gently press the plate just a little to stick it to the paint, and then start turning gently, I guess clockwise first. And then I'm going to turn a little anti-clockwise, just to make sure that the paint is squished all over the base of the paper. I'm just being careful not to touch the white paint that is on the Bristol board as well as I do this. Just a little more turning and a gentle press, and it's going to be time to remove the plate. I'll carefully remove the pin first and then gently raise the plate up off of the paper, and we'll see what's underneath it. Here we go. Wow, that's beautiful. I love the way this turned out. That is a beautiful, colorful sphere. And look at the bottom of the plate. This is now a planet, and I'll just make a couple of adjustments. The outer edge on the right side could use a little bit more paint, so I'm going to add just a little bit of blue there, very small amount squeezed out of the bottle, and I'll just use the brush to kind of smudge that paint to complete the circle. And then I will use some paper towel to just sort of dab that paint so that it gives a similar effect to the effect of the plate. I want to make sure that each time I place the paper towel down, I find a clean piece so that I don't sort of make a mess with what is on the paper towel. Now I'm going to use the cardboard circles, and for the larger circle I'm going to put a little bit of paint on the black paper. You can pick any colors you like for this. I'm going to put a little bit of green and a little bit of orange. I'm going to add some white. It's a good idea to add a little bit of white because it turns the colors a little bit opaque and a little brighter. I'll add a little yellow too. Now I'm just going to place the cardboard down on top of the drops of paint gently and start turning. Gently turning until the paint seems to be coming out slightly of the edges of the cardboard. And then I know it's time to carefully lift. It's always exciting to see what the texture looks like when you lift the circle. Wow, look at that. Looks like it has like branches like a tree in it. It's so pretty. Now I'll do the same with different colors for the smaller planet. The planets don't stamp out in perfect circles, so we'll need a small brush and a little bit of black paint just to touch up the edges. Now I'm done with the black paint, I'm going to reapply some of the stars using the toothbrush. Now I'm going to place a little cluster of stars up here in the corner. With the small brush, I am going to add just a little shooting star right up here. I'll take a little paint from the base of the paper plate and apply it to the shooting star. Sometimes when painting shooting stars they can smudge a little, so if you want to make adjustments, just use a little bit of black paint and just gently paint around. It's really handy when you're working with black paper. And just change the shape to the way you want it. The painting is now complete. Thank you for viewing and or trying out this class. If you'd like to find similar classes, please go to Art with Janine Liza on YouTube.